There's a new Pew poll out on the scientists' views versus the public views on different issues. This is really interesting, so let's take a look at it here. So, going down the line here, you see on the issue of biomedical sciences, is it safe to eat genetically modified foods? You have 88% of scientists saying yes, only 37% of U.S. adults saying yes. 51-point gap between the beliefs of scientists and the beliefs of the American people. We'll come back to this in a second. Let me just run down the line here real quick. Do you favor the use of animals in research? 89% of scientists say yes. Only 47% of the American people say yes. Is it safe to eat foods grown with pesticides? 68% of scientists say yes. 28% of U.S. adults say yes. Have humans evolved? 98% of scientists say yes, which, of course, begs the question, who the fuck are the other 2%? 65% of the American people say yes. That's sad. Childhood vaccines, you have 86% of scientists say, of course, they should get it. 68% of the American people say they should get it. So another 18-point gap there, pretty big gap. Then when you get to climate, energy, and space sciences, you have climate change is mostly due to human activity. 87% of scientists say yes. 50% of the American people say yes. And the growing world population will be a major problem. 82% of scientists say yes. 59% of the American people say yes. So look, the overall conclusion on this, I would say, is the American people are way too ignorant on science issues. And also, by the way, people should be much more willing to say, I don't know, on issues that they don't know. But nonetheless, they just gave opinions to the Pew research pollers here, and that's a shame. So who do we blame for this, man? To me, I put the primary blame on the media and the education system. So the media might be the number one culprit because their job is to get you the facts, get you the news, get you the raw data and the information, put it in context, give you the perspective, and they don't do that. As we all know, mainstream media in America today does these vapid talking points and gives Democrats and Republicans equal credit, and you know, every single issue where they debate is a 50-50 issue, and God forbid we inject some expert opinions into the conversation here. They hardly ever do that. And as a result, you have ignorant Americans on these issues. So take the idea of genetically modified foods. Look, believe me when I say I looked into this more than anybody, because genetically modified foods is an issue where progressives are split. So I'm like, whoa, the people who I usually agree with all the time, they're all over the place on this. Let me figure out what's going on here. So I did a massive amount of research. Come to find out, every single scientific body says they're absolutely safe, GMOs. And they know how to specifically tweak genes to do stuff like allow crops to grow during droughts. That's fantastic. Did you know that bananas, for example, they're genetically modified? The bananas that you eat today, which are basically perfect in the way that you can hold on to them, the way you peel them, natural bananas have all these fucking seeds and they're gross and they're in like no, consistent shape. It's just like a mushy mess, right? So we genetically tweak them to make them better. And they know how to, like even the theoretical ideas of people who are anti-GMOs, they don't make sense. Like people will say, oh, they're going to lead to cancer. But if you listen to scientists on this, they say, no, there's not even a theoretical way in which tweaking a gene to make it so that, a given crop needs less water to survive. There's not even a theoretical way in which tweaking the gene in that way would make it so that it might give you cancer as a byproduct. There's not even like a hypothetical, theoretical link that you can make. So it's just total horseshit and it's junk science. And what I need liberals to understand is the idea of consistency on scientific consensus. So if you say, look, scientific consensus on global warming, so the conservatives need to shut the fuck up. You're right about that. You're 100% right about that. They don't know better than the scientists. You know who else doesn't know better than the scientists? You. So if you're somebody who's understands global warming is real, great, good for you. Now jump to the next scientific consensus. Understand that scientists say vaccines fucking work, so whatever dumbass research you did on Google from Alex Jones' website where it says it's not the case, you're wrong. And also GMOs. If you don't have genetically modified organisms, there's no way we could feed the world. That's another thing people don't tell you. if you don't have the ability to genetically modify organisms, there's no way that we're going to be able to feed the world with the billions of people, over 7 billion people on the planet. So, and then when you go down the list here, favoring use of animals in research, the scientists say, if you listen to them, they say, look, there's no other way we can figure out if these things, which eventually might be used for human consumption, if they're safe. You have to do research with animals. Now, you might say, look, I feel horrible about it, and I feel terrible about it. Hey, I'm fucking with you on that, man. I'm with you. But you have to acknowledge the fact, which is that then we won't have a lot of great products that eventually save human lives if you don't have research on animals. And also the hypocrisy of somebody who might be against, testing on animals, but they also eat burgers or they have bacon. Okay, the way that those animals live is the worst. I mean, that's the worst kind of torturous lifestyle. I'm in favor of legislation to make the lives of animals that are eventually going to be food, to make them much better than they are, where they're stuck in one area, they can't even fucking turn. There was a great report on that not too long ago. So, and you go down the list here, man, only 65% of the American people say that they think humans evolved. Beyond pathetic. And only 68% of the American people think vaccines work. So, look, man, bottom line, the media needs to step their game up. Teachers need to step their game up. And the American people also need to be more intellectually curious, because if you're not, you're going to end up making horrific decisions that affect everybody else around you and you in an incredibly negative way. Like, for example, the measles outbreak that's happening in California, because some dumbasses thought they're smarter than scientists and said, I'm not going to give my kid a vaccine. That's the real-world result of not listening to the scientists. So pay attention.